Hey everybody,
Hello.
Hope you're doing well. We have a little sort of presentation lecture thing to share with you today, and we want to talk about what we're discovering as we try to build our Balboa foundation course. So just to kind of preface things, we're going to be talking about the down-hold footwork rhythm and the up-hold footwork rhythm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
and
8.
how that plays against the different modes of movement in the dance we would call inline, which travels down one track using an upper body twist or counter body movement in a line. And then we have the sideways track, which actually you'll see from the side here. We can do our basics purely sideways, using a lot of hip lilting body movement. And then when you cross that vertical track with the side-to-side track, you create an elliptical type of movement. So that means our body is moving forward and backwards, but also side to side. And if you catch some of these from the side, you'll see how our hips are creating sort of like this hula hoop type of a shape. Now, we started associating, because what's interesting is the downhold basic for us feels very good in this one lane sort of linear configuration of moving in line. And the uphold basic feels really nice in an orbit. So we kind of started our foundation off with the idea like
labeling one and the other.
Yeah, your downhold basic will have this counter body movement twist, but then when we hit the uphold, we're going to be dealing with more hip displacement, which really promotes the uphold or the downhold. Now,
but we do have a lot of experience, for example, in Lindy Hop, where we're like, well, you have the body movement and then you have the footwork, and you can freestyle footwork within the body movement, right? So why can't we do that with Balboa?
So what we started doing was playing with thinking of not the uphold and the downhold basic as being associated with one of these modes. Just to review, we were really liking the downhold to be done in a line and the uphold
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
to be done
7, 8. 1,
in
2.
a mild orbit, almost totally side to side, depending on how fast the music got. Now, what we started doing was asking ourselves, like, what if we started doing the other footwork pattern in those movements, and it sort of busted up our system a little bit, which what we ended up with was
5, 6, 7.
Playing with
1,
uphold
2, 3,
and
4,
downhold
5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2,
in that linear
5,
motion.
6, 7.
And it
2,
created
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3.
a much prettier system. The idea like, oh, we're going to learn to move our body in line. And when we do that, we have our uphold and downhold rhythm. Both of them are accessible. We can share with you which one feels a little bit more naturally easy in that mode, but it kind of created a nicer system. So then we took our orbiting basic.
2, 3, 4, which is usually the uphold that we like to kind of hang out in.
And you'll notice we're
1,
doing
2,
a lot
3,
more
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
movement
1, 2.
of the hips through this lower body lilt or hip displacement, jig walk.
Side to side.
Boom. So that motion we really felt was pushing the uphold. Then when we started practicing, we'll just
1,
give this
2,
view
3,
for
4,
a second.
5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7.
Pushing
1, 2,
our downholds
3,
into
5,
that.
6, 7. 1, 2, 3.
We started to be like, whoa, that's like this really cool, nice circular pattern. And then we had what happens when we dance completely side to side. This was the most interesting one, was the uphold in this. When we do this basic, we're not moving forward and backwards at all. We're just really bringing our feet on this sideways path. And remember, this is just kind of like a presentation more than a lesson for you to be learning. It's more about sharing with you some ideas. So keep that in mind. If you're like, whoa, you're going too fast. We're more just kind of presenting stuff. Now, this sideways path was kind of interesting when we started asking ourselves, okay, how would we get the downhold pattern? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3. And the way we're stepping here, this motion was something we really had to like stretch out in our bodies in order to step down at those moments. Now, Lindy Hop has sort of been our forte of a dance, and we've come up with lots of cool ideas for our Lindy Hop that helps us improvise, express ourselves personally while still being harmonized with our bodies. And so we started, testing some of these ideas, which were...
How universal are they?
Yeah, or how universal not only are the ideas, but like how much can we apply them across all the dances without losing the dance. Now, one thing we always do is basically we think of our bodies being in sync, same body, different footwork, meaning we connect so much with the way our bodies move, but in the feet, we don't want to sync our footwork up, so to say. We want to have freedom of expression.
Now in Balboa, because of the close proximity, you will find it feels, in my opinion, a lot better when it is synced up, but definitely, for example, he could be doing the down hold and I could be doing the up hold if our bodies are in sync.
So, and of course, like here, we're going to do down hold together for a second. This feels really together, and if that's your goal, then this is an awesome place to be. But if Sarah wants to, for some reason, be in an up hold, for a artistic reason, or for a I need to balance, whoa, and this is where my weight is, survival type of reason. When this is the main idea for me, which I was like, footwork, it has a few levels. One is we step for balance. That's the first level of footwork. So when someone like pushes you off your center, you take footwork. When the cookies are in the kitchen, you take footwork. Yeah. And then we start to step rhythmically and musically and artistically, and there's different approaches to that. But when we get into this basic, so for whatever reason we choose to be different from our feet, could be at any one of those levels, but we need to be able to accomplish that, right? So as I do my down hold, can Sarah still do her up hold, and does it feel as tight as us being together? No, but if we're not focusing on that, then it's not such a big deal, especially if we're trying to be like making personal choices, if that makes sense. So we started playing with that, doing exercises like I'm going to do down holds while you do up holds, and then let's switch it. You do down holds while I do up holds, and we started working on how our bodies sync up during those moments. And we played with it with, of course, I'll just switch a little angle, in the orbiting basic, for example. And then I would go to, let's say, down holds while Sarah keeps her up holds, and we were trying to figure out how and in what sort of range of motion we should be doing both of those things in order to allow the other person to hit the other one for whatever reason they needed to, whether it's balance, styling, or musicality. So, and then the last one, of course, we had our side to side, boom. And I don't know if you can see, but there is no forward and backwards motion. And I'm doing a down hold right now while Sarah does her up hold. And that sort of, it's not that we weren't doing those things while we were dancing with each other. Well, we did open up a few new ones. Like I would say the... Side to side is a little unorthodox for us. Yeah, but it feels really cool, and it captures that rhythm in that pathway. Mm-hmm. So what was really cool is it reorganized the way we want to teach our Balboa foundation, because it'll set you up with the idea that, one, you don't have to take the same footwork as your partner. You have to balance really well. And if we're doing the movements in a particular way, then you will be giving your partner that courtesy, and they will be giving it back to you. So it sort of changed our trajectory, and it slowed down the release of Balboa Foundation. We're still working at it at the point of filming this, but we wanted to actually just share with you what we were doing and what we were discovering. So if you have any questions about that or anything, we'd love to hear. Otherwise, hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you around next time.
Bye.
We got Ain't It Grand playing by Glenn Kreitzer and his orchestra. Now, Sarah and I are just gonna do some dancing, and pay attention to how our footwork isn't always sunk up, but we're using all the movement constraints, or construct, shall I say. Really working the linear form of the dance, a lot of upper body twist. Making space for each other to take steps for balance or for creativity. Now we moved into a more orbiting pathway. You can kind of see that in the hips. Going side to side. And now we're just going to sort of smoothly tween between dancing in line, dancing in an orbit. And it creates this really nice flow. Or even nature stops to stare and seems to understand. And we're not even adding in like triples or anything, or maybe that is happening. I'm just trying to stick to basic down holds, basic up holds. Of course, there's embellishment to add in there. But the flow of the dance now, for us, has a lot more curvy lines because of all this cool stuff. Hope you enjoyed the demonstration and the lecture, you guys. See you around.